morning, Bucknutters. Welcome to the Bucknuts Morning 5 here on Wednesday, November 25th, 2015. I am Dave Biddle, and I'm very happy to be joined by Steve Lorenz from Wolverine 24/7. Steve, how are you doing this morning?
Doing good. Looking forward to some turkey on Thursday and some football on Saturday, so always a great week.
Yeah, that sounds like a good recipe to me. I always enjoy following the point spreads on these games. Ohio State, Michigan opened up. The Buckeyes were a 2-point favorite. Before you could blink your eye, it shot to Michigan being a 2.5-point favorite. That was a huge jump, especially in a short period of time. Now it's down to a pick'em. I just find this interesting. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I found it kind of interesting as well. I know what happened in Columbus last weekend. I still kind of thought Ohio State would be the favored team. I know Michigan's been playing relatively well the last 4 or 5 weeks, but they have squeaked by against some inferior opponents. They did look pretty strong against Penn State on Saturday. I wondered if it had anything to do with the Zeke Elliott stuff. I mean, I don't think that should have any effect on what happened Saturday, but I don't know what Vegas is thinking. I think a pick'em sounds about right in terms of, maybe the performance that Ohio State put out there last week. Michigan's at home. It sounds all right to me. I probably would have favored Ohio State by a point or two, though, to be honest with you.
I want to get your insights on Michigan's injuries. I know their defensive tackle situation, they were a little banged up there. I don't know how they are now. Just give the listeners an update on Michigan's injury report.
Sure. So the guys that have not been, more recent injuries that are going to affect him in this game, Ryan Glasgow, defensive tackle, will definitely be out. He tore his pectoral muscle against Rutgers. Mario Ojemudia was hurt earlier this year. Their starting Buck linebacker, he'll be out. Another defensive tackle, Brian Monet, actually hasn't played this season. There were rumors that he may make a return for this game. I don't think that they would do it now. I think maybe if the game had been for the division, maybe they'd bring him back. I don't know if they want to burn that red shirt, though. Besides that, offensively, I know J.U. Chesson left the game last weekend against Penn State with some kind of undisclosed arm injury, but Jim Harbaugh said that he should be good to go on Saturday. So they're not fully healthy. I mean, a lot of the guys they've had out have been out long-term, though. They haven't really, outside of Glasgow, haven't really sustained any injuries recently that are going to affect them on Saturday outside of his. So defensive tackle, I mean, they've been moving Willie Henry kind of inside a little bit to give Mo Hurst a little bit of help in there. So I think they should be okay at defensive tackle.
Steve, the Wolverines are 9-2. I think if they played Utah again, Michigan would win, even at Utah. We know the Michigan State game was a fluke. Spartans were very lucky to win that game. Wolverines are 10th in the nation. Are you surprised that they're this good this fast, first year of Jim Harbaugh?
It's kind of been the million-dollar question. Yes and no. I think, as anybody who follows these two teams know, Michigan did those guys. There's a lot of talent on the roster. I mean, that was never really the issue. Guys like Chris Wormley, Taco Charlton, even A.J. Williams, guys that were guys that could show it in flashes but weren't doing it consistently. I didn't think they'd be 9-2. I figured they would slip up somewhere on the road. The fact they're undefeated on the road in the conference was a surprise to me. I mean, because this group of kids has struggled on the road mightily. I don't know. I mean, I had them at 8-4. So yeah, I guess I'd have to say I'm pretty surprised at where they are this quickly. But at the same time, I mean, Harbaugh's done this everywhere he's gone. And like I said, there was a lot of talent coming into this roster. I think the question was at quarterback, and Jake Rudock has played really well, actually, over the last 4 or 5 weeks. So it's kind of a mix, I guess, is the best way to put it.
Yeah, with Rudock, this is pure Harbaugh right here. He takes quarterbacks, and just slowly they get better and better and better. Alex Smith with the 49ers, he was terrible before Harbaugh got there. Takes him to the NFC Championship game. Colin Kaepernick takes him to the Super Bowl. Now you see what he's doing with Jake Rudock, who lost his job at Iowa, did not look very good at all at the beginning of the year. Now he's playing at an all Big Ten level. I watch Michigan as much as I can. Do you see that as well? Do you think Rudock at the beginning of the year was substandard? Now he's very good, or am I not on point there?
No, that's exactly it. I mean, if you're disgruntled fan, you're saying that that Rudock cost Michigan the Utah game. I mean, they were in that game until the very end, and then a sort of a boneheaded pick six on just a really bad read is what put that game out of reach. But the last 5 or 6 weeks, I think last week was a big step forward. I mean, he had done great against Indiana and Rutgers, but those two defenses are awful against the pass. So I think a lot of people wanted to see against Penn State. He passed with flying colors. Actually, weirdly enough, he's the first Michigan quarterback in history to throw for 250 yards in 3 straight games, if you can believe that. So he's improved drastically as far as just this pure decision making. But the receivers have gotten open too. That credit goes to Tim Drevno, Jetfish, for getting receivers in good spots. But when the big throws have had to be made over the last 6-7 weeks, Rudock's been making them. So it's been kind of interesting to watch. I mean, because it's tangible. You can see it, even if you're not a big X's and O's guy. I mean, you can just see that he's improved and gotten a lot better over the season. So it's nice to see good quarterback play at Michigan. We'll just say it's been quite a while. So
I grew up with nothing but good quarterback play from Michigan, so
Sure.
Kind of getting back to how it used to be. How surprised are you, and just to speak for the Michigan fan base in general, how surprised do you think Michigan fans are about how Ohio State has looked this year? I'm not just talking about the loss last week. All year they have not looked like the team anybody thought they would look like. From the Michigan point of view, how surprised are people by that?
I mean, I definitely think that there's got to be some surprise considering, how many guys they brought back. There's been the individual guys have been putting it together. Zeke Elliott's had a great year again. Joey Bosa's probably the best defensive player in the country. Whether it was the quarterback situation that's kind of thrown things into a flux or not, I guess I can kind of check the pulse of the Michigan side of things and say that I think there's definitely some surprise. I think people figured they would roll through their schedule and that this game would be a game just because it's usually a close game. I mean, under Rich Rod, it wasn't, but that, a little bit different. I mean, even Brady Hoke's teams played Ohio State really well for the most part. So I think that's kind of the way everybody looked at it. I know if they're like me, they were, very surprised at what happened last Saturday, surprised at the game plan. I know, most Ohio State fans are probably still upset about that. But I think it's a little bit of a surprise considering, I mean, they brought back the majority of their contributors on both sides of the ball.
I've already dubbed this the 5-year war, Steve. We had the 10-year war before our time, Bo and Woody. I've already dubbed this the 5-year war. I don't even know if both coaches will stay that long. Hopefully they do. How long do you think both coaches will stay at their respective schools?
Oh, man. What's funny is I'm sure you saw, but Jim Harbaugh went on the grave walk yesterday, which actually is a tradition that's been going on for a long, long time, where they smash the Buckeyes and stuff. He's actually the first sitting coach to go on that traditional walk, which was I thought was kind of neat. And to me, it's kind of symbolized like why I think that he's not going to be leaving anytime soon. Now, what soon means, again, I don't know. I mean, soon could be 5, 6 years. As far as Coach Meyer, I don't know where his head is at or what he's doing. I mean, he's won 3 national championships. I mean, he's probably one of the 2 or 3 greatest college football coaches there's been. He could ride off into the sunset whenever, really, I would think. But I don't see him. I think I see this continuing. I don't know. I agree with you though, as far as it being more of a 5-year than a 10-year. I don't think we're going to see a 10-year situation. But I don't see Jim Harbaugh leaving Michigan anytime in the near future. I think he's loved it in Ann Arbor. He loves being there. And stuff like, I think that grave walk actually is kind of a microcosm of why, because I think he's kind of represents a lot of what people think about when they think about Michigan. And I think he's happy there. I think his family's happy there. I mean, his parents moved to Ann Arbor when he got the job. I think he's just surrounded by family and a community that has embraced him, obviously. So I think it's been a great fit, as most people expected. So if he left, he would do it if Michigan had great success on the field. I guess that's the best way I would put it.
And brass tacks, let's get a final score prediction. Buckeyes at Wolverines on Saturday, high noon, televised on ABC. Give me a final score prediction, sir.
So when the season first began, I said that Michigan would beat Michigan State or Ohio State, and well, I mean, they came about as close to beating Michigan State as any team has ever come without actually beating them. So I have to pick Michigan on Saturday. I think the defense steps up, keeps the edge contained so that Ohio State can't open things up in the middle for Zeke. I'm going with Michigan 24-17. I think it's going to be a close game throughout. Again, this game is always one that could go either way. I kind of get the sense that for the first time in probably 6 or 7 years, I think this is a team that thinks they can win, feels like they're going to win going into the game. I think there's just a different mentality there, and I think it's going to eventually shine through. I think home field's going to pay off, and Michigan comes out on top.
I think this is a coin flip game. I have the Buckeyes winning in a close one, 28-24. I expect a great game as always. Great stuff out of Steve Lorenz from Wolverine 24/7. I really appreciate it, Steve. I hope you and your family have a happy Thanksgiving. Same to the listeners out there. Thank you for tuning into the show. I hope you guys have a happy Thanksgiving. Take it away, best damn band in the land.